We start in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Last year, 11-6. Pretty sure they were 10-1 after week 11, and then decided, what is football? And just proceeded to lose 6 of their last 7 and get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Right, Josh?
Yeah, shut up.
Same head coach, Nick Sirianni. New offense, Kellen Moore, former OC last year with the Chargers. Previous to that, the Dallas Cowboys. The projected starting lineup, this is the underdog ADP as of July 8th. Again, this ADP is best ball. Starting probably in mid-July, we may transition over into that redraft area, but as of right now, it's mostly best ball ADPs. That's where you're going to get your best look at it. Jalen Hurts, quarterback number 2, behind Joshua Allen, who is number 1. Quarterback 2 on the team, Kenny Pickett, undrafted, surprisingly. Yeah, you may be asking, wasn't Kenny Pickett a first-round pick not too long ago? You are correct. And while the Chargers are very good at, not the Chargers, the Steelers are very good at dissecting wide receiver talent, they are horrible at dissecting quarterback talent, if you haven't noticed of late. Running back 1, Saquon Barkley, jump ship from the Giants. Doesn't go too far, ends up in Philly, but on a division rival, RB6 in ADP. To Will Shipley, the 7-year veteran from Clemson. Felt like he played with Hunter Renfrow and Deshaun Watson when they were still Clemson Tigers. RB67, Kenny Gainwell, RB71. 2 stacker receivers, A.J. Brown at 6, DeVonta Smith at 18, and a steep drop-off to Paris Campbell at wide receiver 122. If that doesn't tell you there's 2 receivers in this offense, I don't know what does. Now, one guy might jump up. Johnny Wilson, the rookie out of Florida State, he's 123, and Anais Smith is 125. Again, it's no shock to anybody, but there's the Philadelphia Eagles offense, followed up by Dallas Goedert at tight end 12. He is just on the cusp of a tight end 1 in ADP so far right now. I will start with the second wide receiver in this offense, who on any given week could be the guy to go for 150 and 2 touchdowns. Fizzle, you want to talk about DeVonta Smith. He's at 18, and he's kind of been ADP'd in this area. It feels like for 3 straight seasons. He's just been in this area, especially when A.J. Brown got there. And he seemed to finish either here or even a little better than where his ADP is at. Do you like him this year? Are you worried with the addition of Barkley that he doesn't get as many targets? How are you feeling?
Man, well, first of all, man, Smitty is the guy. He's always going to be the guy, man. I started this thing last year with Mike with this Doodoo Brown, AJ Brown thing, and he hated me for it. But I felt like AJ kind of forced his targets. Like if you look at those games, he did a lot of yelling, fussing, and they were winning those games. But he kind of like strong DeVonta Smith. And one thing I know, even though people are going to say when Goddard gets hurt, that's when Smith gets his play and a lot of yards. But I looked at his numbers earlier. 1,000 yards this year. 1,100, almost 1,222. And with Kellen Moore as your offensive coordinator, the ball will be spread around. That's number 1. There's no question about how much he's going to throw that ball. But number 2, man, I really feel like Smitty is, as much as A.J. Brown gets the love, and there's no hate on A.J., but Smitty is the glue, man. If you look at what he did in Alabama, bro, that's enough to tell you that this guy is the guy. But when he gets on this offense with a head coach like Kellen Moore, who has CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper, and they all had 1,000 yards in one season, I don't see why. If, like we just said, there's only 2 receivers on this team, I don't see why DeVonta Smith can't have his career best 1,200 yards this season as a receiver, too, on this team. So I'm all Smitty. Ranked receiver 18. You could book him for that or higher, but I wouldn't book him no less than 15 this year, man. So let's go, Smitty. Let's run them numbers up, baby.
Josh?
I love me some DeVonta Smith. I know there was a lot of, especially with his first couple of years, where it was like, when Goddard's playing, he doesn't do near as well, or when he's out, it's this and that. And like, I get it. Like when they're playing together, DeVonta just this past season was on pace for 216 fantasy points. And in the 3 games without Dallas Goedert, he was on pace for 375 fantasy points. Like it's a drastic difference.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, when you're playing with AJ Brown, your ceiling is capped anyway because he's the big play guy, right? So DeVonta Smith's job is to take the targets that are given to him and make the most of it. And that's exactly what he does week in and week out. Is he going to have a few bumps in the road? 100%. But this is going to be a very different offense. And when you look at these Kellen Moore years, even going back to Dallas, Fizzle, like they haven't really had a consistent wide receiver 2, right? They've had like a good tight end and a really good wide receiver 1, but they've never really had that dominant wide receiver 2 that commands the targets as well. So I think that really is going to push a lot more DeVonta's way. And with Dallas Goedert's inability to stay healthy for a full season, people forget that he's only played 1 full season in his career. And that was part-time his rookie year. He's going to miss plenty of time. So DeVonta can easily pay off at wide receiver 18 price.
We talk about the price, and he is in a spot that feels maybe towards the lower end of where he will be, and that's why I want to go into our first game of Would You Rather this evening. Fizzle, I'm sure you've never played this game before in your life, so let me break it down to you.
I never heard of it, brother.
Yeah,
never.
It's very simple. It's very simple. I know you think, oh my God, this sounds like a crazy game. No. I give you the player in question, DeVonta Smith. I give you another player, and you simply tell me, who would you rather have on your team? It's hard. I know the concept is tough.
I'm sweating, man.
I know. So that's why I simplify it for all the guests. No. So
Yes, sir.
we're going to go 2 above and 2 below.
Okay.
And I will probably go 3 below because directly below DeVonta Smith is Malik Neighbors, and I don't think either of you are going to take Malik Neighbors over DeVonta Smith in redraft.
No, I'm not, bro.
So we're going to skip Malik Neighbors. Again, that's the weird outlier with these best ball ADP drafts right now, is Malik Neighbors in redraft is probably not creeping up into the first part of the 3rd round in your redraft league. So we will go through here. Also, fun fact, in the 3rd round where DeVonta Smith is going as the first pick, there are only 3 non-wide receivers being drafted in the 3rd round.
Welcome to best ball.
Insane right now. But we will start. Deebo Samuel or DeVonta Smith? I don't need an explanation. If you want to, you can. But who would you rather, Deebo Samuel or DeVonta Smith? Fizzle.
I'm going DeVonta Smith. I'm the wrong guy to ask about Deebo, but I'm going Smitty, man.
Josh.
Oh, Smitty, hands down. I'm not a Deebo stan.
I would go DeVonta Smith as well. The perennial 1,000-yard receiver, Mike Evans or DeVonta Smith? Fizzle.
I like me some Mike, man. Felt like he had a great season last year, but he's going to reach 1,000 yards. But I'm going Smitty, man. Smitty's going to be a little higher.
This one actually is pretty close for me. I'm going to lean Smith, but it's close. They're like, I have them within like 1 fantasy point of each other in my projection. So
if I'm on the clock, I'm taking DeVonta Smith. I'm taking DeVonta Smith every time there. I think it's close.
I think that Bucs offense is going to regress without Dave Canales. Truthfully,
correct.
Hey, that's the biggest reason. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. DeVonta Smith or DK Metcalf? Fizzle.
I'm taking Smitty, man. I feel like they're going to throw the ball to all 3 receivers and maybe even Noah Fant. So Philly going to do the same, but I'm going to go Smith. I believe in Smith just a little higher. This is the closest range it's going to get for me, though, but I'm going Smitty.
Josh.
I am unreasonably high on DK this year. It's DK for me.
Okay, great. So, Fizzle, that means you chose right because Josh is going to be wrong. And last 2, DeVonta Smith or DJ Moore? Fizzle.
Again, I got to go Smitty, man. I think Keenan Allen's going to ask for a lot of targets, and I think a lot of people sleeping on Rome, man. Him and Caleb as rookies. They might hang out together. They're the same age. They might go to the clubs together. That bond is going to break real soon. So DJ going to take a little seat back, I think, a little bit this year. So I'm going Smitty over DJ.
Josh.
I have DJ Moore higher. I don't think he's going to fall off as much as people think.
I'm a DJ Moore stan, so I'm full. You either love or you hate him. I love DJ Moore.
I'm in Maryland, so I'm with you.
I love DJ Moore. And the last one, because I do feel he is criminally low. DeVonta Smith or Cooper Kupp? Fizzle.
I knew you was gonna ask Cooper Kupp, bro. I was hoping you was gonna skip over Kupp because I'm a Kupp stan, bro.
That's why I brought it up.
When Robert Woods was there, I was telling people, man, y'all tripping. Kupp about to run this up, and it happened. So that's like the breaking point, bro. I would say to me, I'm a cop out, flip a coin, bro. I take either one, man. Flip a coin. I'll
Josh.
take either one.
I'm going to take Kupp only because we have seen the massive ceiling from Kupp. We haven't truly seen it from Smith. So I think at that point, you're still getting a really good floor with both of them. And at that point, I'm going to take who I've seen the higher ceiling from. And it's Kupp.
Can I say if Kupp is healthy, I would say Kupp. But if Kupp and the injuries is why I would flip a coin. But if we talk
if Kupp gets injured in the preseason, it's DeVonta Smith hands down.
If we talking at least 15 games, I would take Kupp. But with the injuries included, I will flip a coin.
That's fair. If you want more, and it's weird to say this about a guy whose legs look like, toothpicks, but if you want more guaranteed health, potentially DeVonta Smith, whereas Cooper Kupp is older, all of those things. I would just throw this up. This is not obviously a Philadelphia Eagles thing, but in the division, Brandon Cooks is going to ride out into the sunset with 1,400 yards this year. While I hope that happens,
I don't.
It is not going to happen.
I'm sorry, Shiz. It won't happen, brother.
That is not going to happen. And also, is this true? Did none of Caleb's teammates show up to his birthday party?
I have no idea. I felt like it's a mock on the draft day.
I hope that's true.
I'm sure Rome showed up.
Yeah.
Rome's a dog. Rome is a dog. Look out. All right. To the tight end position. Why? But Josh wants to talk about him because we love tight ends on this show, don't we, Josh?
Yeah,
Dallas
it's funny.
Goedert.
I actually, when I was going through and I was doing this, I literally highlighted all the tight ends because I think all of these guys are very interesting with these three teams. But
all right, the other two are fine. The other two are fine.
Yeah, well, and that's why, I look at this, and every single year we keep expecting Dallas Goedert to be a top 12 guy, and it just feels like he never is. I'm going through and looking back at his points per game finishes. They've been solid, but not anything overly spectacular, especially when he doesn't play enough games. So just looking at starting his rookie year, he was tight end 27. Then he jumps up tight end 12, tight end 10, tight end 8, tight end 5, but he only played 12 games. And then was tight end 12 last year in 14 games. And again, this is points per game, but you're looking at games played of 14, 11, 13, 12, 14. They're just all over the place because he doesn't play a full season. Now you're going into a new offense that should, in theory, throw the football more because that's what Kellen Moore does. But when you pay the type of money that you pay Saquon Barkley, they're going to use him quite a bit on the ground. I don't see a scenario where Saquon Barkley is getting less than 250 carries if he's playing 15 or more games. So that's going to eat into some of that target share. Now, when you look at the tight end usage in Kellen Moore offenses, they'll range anywhere from 14 to 16% target share, which is great, especially on a higher pass volume offense. But as I mentioned when we were talking about DeVonta Smith, Kellen Moore has never really had a viable number 2 wide receiver. And when he has, the wide receiver 1 only got 1% target share more than the wide receiver 2. There's never been a big a gap the way that he has with an A.J. Brown and a DeVonta Smith, which is going to leave a little bit less when you're looking at how much target share can the tight end really get. The upside is that they're expecting a lot of similarities to what they previously did and just kind of sprinkling that Kellen Moore effect. So that means this is going to be a pass funnel offense. The top 3 targets are more than likely going to be Brown, Smith, Goedert. But now that you're paying Saquon and you're utilizing Saquon, I fully expect 11% or 12% target share going his way, which could approach 70 targets. I don't know a world where Dallas Goedert's getting 90 targets, and even then, he averages less than 4 touchdowns per season. So what you're saying is he's Evan Ingram light because he doesn't get the touchdowns, but then he doesn't get the volume. So really, he's just Noah Fant with a name. So you're overpaying for him because of that. And I think that's just not worth it when it comes to fantasy because you always talk about that 7 to 12 range being a tight end dead zone. Dallas Goedert is one of those traps.
Fizzle, anything on Dallas Goedert to add?
Yeah, I would just say he's a perfect best ball guy that's ranked higher than he should be, right? Because I'm looking at his numbers now, and he's consistently double digits, 10 minimum. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's 13, 17, 20. He has those spike weeks, but if you had to start him every week, would you expect it? You wouldn't know which week. If you had let's just say Dallas Goedert and I want to say like a Cole Kmet. Let's say Njoku, who we're gonna touch on later. But let's just say Njoku and Dallas Goedert, right? Who do you start? And then you'll look at the offense and see which offense is better, the matchups. But you might end up playing the wrong guy if it's a lineup. Now, best ball, I would definitely say Goddard is just an overranked best ball tight end. I feel like guys like Cole Kmet are in the same similar situations. They might be in a pass-heavy offense. He got 4 weapons around him with DJ Moore, Adonze, Keenan Allen, Kmet, Swift. You know, it's almost like a similar. Like Chicago was like a C+ version of the Philadelphia Eagles offense, pretty much. Jalen Hurts, Caleb, you know what I'm saying? DJ Moore, AJ Brown, Smitty, Keenan, you know what I'm saying? Like if you look at how deep their receiving tight end room is, as far as the youth go, Chicago has it. But Dallas Goedert, to me, if you look at his numbers, it's a consistent 10 points minimum. I just think we overpay for him because of the name and the helmet. And I'm okay with missing him. I'm okay with taking him, but I'm not reaching for him in any draft. I just say that.
Yeah, the thing that I found really interesting, when you look at DeVonta Smith's rookie year until now, Dallas Goedert's yards per reception went from 14.8 to 12.8 to 10 as Smitty has grown into his role. That just tells you right there, they're going to use Smitty a lot more in this offense, especially for the bigger plays. Dallas Goedert really is that safety blanket at this point.
Those mid to late rounds, there's better picks to take a swing on.
Exactly. There we go. There we go. Yep.
And we'll end in Philadelphia.
Joe didn't sound like he was too happy about Dallas Goedert. He wanted to move on. My bad for keep making you hear too much.
No. Hey, listen. We're all here to have fun. And what's more fun than a position where
Joe hates tight ends?
Hey, listen,
that's probably why subconsciously I literally picked every single one.
Dude.
In South Harmon, tight ends don't matter, man. That's what they tell me. So I got to get aboard, man.
Listen, all I know is that in 1 week of your fantasy tight end one could be Sam Laporta. You know, the first tight end going off the board right now. It could also be
David Njoku for like 4 weeks, right?
It could be David Njoku. I'm trying to think. It could be Jonnu Smith, who was ADP'd at 534 last year. So what even is this position when you think about it? That's, it's just a crapshoot to me, and I don't like it. It's just a crapshoot to me. So
you like kickers. It makes no sense to me.
Kickers consistently score more than tight ends. Tell me.
And yet it's the same thing. A different one is the top of the position every single week. So
yeah, but it feels better with a kicker. Let me tell you.
No, really.
Justin Tucker is more of a legend than Travis Kelce. I stand by that statement.
I asked the Tampa Bay Bucks. They took one in the second round a couple years ago, bro. I don't know.
Well, Roberto Aguayo.
And I'm a Florida State guy, so
dude, it's weird they didn't do a vision test because he was actually blind.
I don't know what
crazy.
He was. Yeah, I'm a Florida State guy, man. It hurt my heart to see it, man.
The last good kicker taken high was Sebastian Janikowski, and he deserved it. That man was a dog.
I think he just drink beers in the locker room, man. I think that's really what got him.
He was an overweight white guy with a leg that could kick 70 yards. That's exactly who Sebastian. That is what your kicker should be. All right, Justin Tucker can sing opera all day long. I want my kicker.
Dude, if Gardner Minshew was a kicker, he would be more of a god than he is.
I like
Are you kidding me?
I like that.
Janikowski looks like the guy in the dive bar smoking a cigar in the corner, pounding a Bush Light, and he just shows up to work and just does his job so well.
He looked like when it's 4th and 10, he like hold my beer, and I'm just going ahead and just kick a 70-yard field goal.
Janikowski, dog, and also the only other team to take a punter in the first round, Ray Guy, dog, fucking Raider legend, yeah. My brother loves he hates Randy Bullock, so he says no more tubby Randy Bullocks around. But we will end in Philadelphia with you might want to update that timestamp, Josh, with Saquon Barkley, the hot off-season edition, to where we are getting the inside look on how stupid the Giants front office is, and it is basically confirming everything we have been thinking in real time. It was an interesting move to say, let's pay Daniel Jones all of this money and not pay Saquon,
Best offensive player.
a quarter of that money. It was a choice. Let's say it was a choice. That choice has ended up in the lap of the Philadelphia Eagles. Behind, yes, they lose Jason Kelce, still behind one of the best run-blocking offensive lines in the NFL. They get arguably one of the best backfield weapons in the NFL. How are we feeling, Josh?
Oh, I absolutely love this. When you talk about a breakaway ability and the ability to create big plays, Saquon Barkley is probably a top 3 running back in the NFL when it comes to that. And when you put that behind easily the best offensive line that he has ever had, he's going there. There's a case he can challenge Christian McCaffrey as the best running back in the NFL this season.
In fantasy
That's
football.
how good he can be. No, I mean, all over, because he's just as good with the football in his hands, especially as a receiver. They can do a lot of the similar things. And Barkley is bigger, right? So in theory, he should be able to take more of a pounding. I say in theory because clearly he's missed a lot of games. So hopefully having a better offensive line in front of him can help with that. And as I said, you get 15 games out of him, you should very easily get 1,200 plus yards rushing on top of another 300 or 400 receiving. Twice in his career, he's topped 1,300 yards. Twice in his career, he's hit 10 or more rushing touchdowns. He's added in, many receiving touchdowns as well. Like, he's a multifaceted guy. And that's the type of back that Kellen Moore has had. When you look at like prime Zeke Elliott, that's what Zeke could do. He could run between the tackles, he could get those yards, and he could score touchdowns. This is everything that Saquon can do. And Saquon can do that better because he's more electric with the football in his hands. So again, you put him behind a good offensive line, which he's never had in New York. And 2 seasons, he topped 4.6 yards per carry. There's good things to happen, especially when you have a quarterback who commands a defensive attention because of what he can do with his legs. Saquon is primed for a top 5 season this year, and I am all aboard. You can argue top 3 season, truthfully.
I'm here for it. I'm gonna take Bijan in the first round and wrap and get Saquon Barkley and be very happy about taking Keenan Allen as my wide receiver 1 in the 3rd round, as the Keenan Allen stands do. I'll give you one bet to end this. Josh says Jalen Hurts over 22.5 passing touchdowns this year. It's plus 125.
He's only hit that once. He hit 23 last year. But again, the change in philosophy going from Steichen and Brian Johnson to Kellen Moore, who's going to open up and throw more, I think getting 23 passing touchdowns is a pretty easy bet, truthfully.